Hello. We are live. Alright, so you know how I said I was going to do all this stuff off camera? Yeah, well I didn't. So, what I'm wondering is that goes into the positive. So can we go fill from where I am to hang on, it's positive Z. Okay, so can we go fill from where I am to X? Let's go 20 for now and 20 from there, and stone. The answer is yes. Okay, so if I knew the actual width of that, that means I could just do that command all at once. So that's pretty neat. I like that. So we're now going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So 7 and 27. So if I stand here and change this to 7 high and 27 long, that should fill that. If I stand here, we should be able to do 7 and 20. 20 high, 7 across. Look at that. Okay, so that's easier. The other thing, last time we were doing this, we were trying to work out how we could teleport students without teleporting teachers around, so that we can teleport them down to here. So I think that Joel figured that out. Let me just get the command up. Pretty sure Joel figured that out, that we could do something like TP anyone who is more than 1 away from me. More than 1? More than 5 away from me, so that means I can pretty much be anywhere on here, and then I need to go and get the coordinates of our viewing platform down here. So I reckon if we teleported them here-ish. So this is where I should be writing things down. I just need a notebook always here. So we're 187, 93, negative 266. That didn't write at all, negative 266. Why didn't that write? It's weird. Anyway, so if we go back up to here, and I can't test this unless one of the other mentors comes on with me, but we TP them to 187, 93, negative 266. Right, so then when I click that, it won't teleport me because I'm too close. So if I am 5 blocks away, I get teleported to here. So that's the way we can get around that. So this is teleport students. I didn't know I did that. To observation platform. I didn't know it auto broke. How long's it done that for? Right. So this is all the logistics. Drop them, sets them to creative. See, again, with that, I reckon it's worth RM equals 5. Ooh. So that it doesn't change me, and the same here with adventure mode. RM equals 5. So now it doesn't actually change my game mode, which is great. That's exactly what we want. Now, so they're in creative when they're dropped. They're in adventure when they're back up the top here. They can only build in that location directly beneath that. What else are we needing? What have we forgotten? Nothing, I don't think. So I think that was supposed to be spawn. And then we're going to go through into there where they can choose all kinds of different types of blocks. And as soon as they walk through there, they seal off. That's right, I remember now. So basically now we need to clone this structure 2, 3, 4, 5 more times, maybe 4 more times at a minimum. So basically I want to so this is the issue. I don't think you can rotate on clone. Clones blocks from one region to another. Yeah. So there's no way to rotate, which is somewhat problematic. Because I still want, I think, 1, 2, so I can clone it over to there, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 would work. So I can clone that. So, things are going ding down there. Alright, I am actually going to write some stuff down. Okay. So let's say I want to clone, come out to here, so I want to clone from out one further than this, so we're 1 there and 1 out here. So cloning from here, I need to go down a block to get that. So we're going from 213, 79, negative 282 to so we're all the way out to here, where this we're at least 115. So let's go 116. We're coming out to negative 250. And then I want to come all the way out to here for now, which is, let's go 186, I guess. Now this is the first time I've ever done a clone command, so let's have a go. Destination, I need a destination. So I really want to go here-ish in line. Don't want to be in line because that would be here. So them, and then we're going to 213, 80, negative 206. And see what that does. Okay, so slash clone, beginning at 213, 79 and negative 282, going to 180, 116, negative 250, going to 213, 80, negative 208. I think we want to go replace force. Why did it do that? Remember, there's no undo. so it started on that. Okay. So where that coordinate I put in is here. So it pasted it relative to this corner here. Right? So I should have lined up my front coordinate here. So let's change that to 180, 80, negative 208. And there we go, fill to, how many blocks are we going out there? 30 to the Z, negative 30, so we're going, so I want to go negative on the Z, no, positive on the Z, and positive on the X. Okay, so slash fill from where I am right now to 30, we're going up at least 50 and out at least, let's go 30 and just see what happens. Too many blocks. Okay, let's do 20s then. Still too many blocks. No, I did that. Okay, so if I just go and stand here, that's not bad. Like, it's not quite as intuitive as the good old fill clear tool, but it's not terrible either. So now if we go back to clone and we're going, changing that to 180, hang on, too many coordinates. The negative 250, that's got to stay. You need to be 180 and the rest stays the same. Go. Hey, look at that! Success. So if we chose to ignore air, that would have left this intact, I'm pretty sure. So we could have left the terrain intact if we had have chosen to ignore air. That's pretty cool though. So that's 2 built. And if these are relative, which they are, aren't they? No, they're not relative. So I'm going to need to redo the commands here to make them, if I wanted to do that. I'll just do it manually. It's not worth making it relative because it's only those 2. And then we're going to have to rebuild one over there, one over here, and one over there. And we'll just start with the 5 and see how we go. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Well, let's just do some maths. Negative 207. To negative 178. How many blocks is that? That's double negatives. It's too late at night for this. Because what I will do is I will fill. So I'll come over here. Yeah, alright. Calculator it is. The difference between is 29, not 31 like I would have thought. Okay, and we're going to negative x. Slow slash fill from where I am to negative 29. Oh. Allow. Replace. Oh. I think I might need a 0 there and then replace. Look at that. So that's the start. So now I stand one back and we do the same thing and we go up. What was it? 20. So 27 high gets me to that. So if we sit here and we go across 29 and then 27 high, stone. Woo! So it takes it up to there, so then we go 2 blocks up and 1 block out towards the back. So we go 2 blocks up, 1 block out towards the back, and we come out another 3 out the front. Like so. Bricks are what gets replaced. We're running this along here. Hello there, someone watching? This along here, that's what's getting replaced. Missed. Yeah, and that is covered. So that's the basic area. And then, why was I putting this here? Because they're getting creative and I wanted them to stay closer to the ground. But I'm changing them to adventure mode. So that brings them down to the ground. Yeah, I was going to seal them in so that they couldn't go too high, that's right. So do I want to... I think I want to boot the students back up. So the students fall down here after placing blocks, da, 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 da. They walk up here to get a spot where they can take a picture. Alright, or the teacher teleports them here is also an option, so they can take a picture. And then they just go back off, go back to theirs for the first couple and go up. Otherwise the teacher teleports them to the next location. I think. Alright. Thirsty. And you don't need to listen to me drink. So now where do I want to be? Here looks like a good spot, running straight through here, which is -Z. So we're doing this, -Z. Oh, that hasn't got 0. Alright, and from here we're doing the stone on Z. Those commands really do help, you know. In reality, they are actually really useful. Now we went 2 more up and then 1 out. And then we came out 3 more. And timber here. Bricks here. Stone there. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I reckon another one out here. And now that's going +X. So we get this. We make it +X, and we get this, we make it positive x. Up to out 1. Out another 3. So I managed to convert some one of my old worlds to, what should I call it today? To Bedrock, to Minecraft Education Edition. So when you clone, yeah, it does copy the commands. So if we were to clone this section here that way a couple of times, so these, it'll be relative, so it'll be from this position here, won't it? Yes. So realistically, I want to clone from 110, 75, negative 251. We can change floors out later. And I want to clone, no, not there, to here. 115, 79, negative 250. So let's just test this theory. So 110, 75, negative 251 to 115, 79, negative 250. And it should say no, good. And I want to clone it to the negative z 2 blocks over, 3 blocks over. Let's try it. To tilde, 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 negative 3, replace, force, go. Okay, good theory. I'm standing in the wrong location there. So if I am, yeah, okay. So I need to stand here. Nope. I need to stand here. Right. So is it going to be quicker if I do this? right? So now they're all set up to teleport me to wherever they're teleporting me to. These commands are relative. And this command is the wool, or the block type. So that is just going to need some neatening up afterwards. How many did I say I needed? So where have I got to stand? I've got to stand here. It would be to my advantage, I reckon, to fill all of them in. Because it's copying that each time. Oh, I wanted you there. Right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I want 16, I believe, because that is the number. So 15, 16. That's the number of different coloured wool blocks there are. So we have to neaten that, which is fine. Right. So now there are 16 different colours of wool. Down that corridor. So we're going to have the spawn location here. So do I just recreate that running here with like concrete and with stained clay, so we can give them a huge array of choices, is what I'm thinking. So do I mirror? Either way, I'll see maybe. So what if we shifted it out? So I was having to stand here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what if I shifted it out 10? So we do that, and we shift it in which direction? Yeah, positive 10. Tilde 10 for now and get rid of the negative 3. Duh. No, stop. I've got to stand there for that to work. Right? And then from here, I go back to that one. And we have 2, 3, 4 wide corridor there. And let's just get rid of these. Right. So we do the same thing. And we can have 16 of whatever this is going to be. Right? It's shifted one across. That's going to annoy me. Still not in the right spot. Oh, because it didn't work, because I didn't put the 1 there. Right. So now, in the theory, if I come through here and do this, is it actually shifting it? No. So if we stand here, do we need to do a 1? No. So why didn't it work? Because it shouldn't have shifted on the z-axis. See, but that's not right. No blocks cloned. Why? Replace force. Why isn't it working? 1, 2, 3 coordinates, 1, 2, 3 coordinates. 10 on the x, none on the y, none on the z. Just clean a little bit of this up so we can see where it's actually trying to put it. Right, so that should clone that over to there. But it's not lined up. So we try that again. We need to move it -1. Right, now that's lined up. right? And I need to stand here and just push that back to the -3. Now it's shifting them. I wonder what went wrong. It's definitely a me issue. Why am I doing this? Riddle me that. What did I just work out? What did I just work out? That I could probably clone the whole structure and just push the whole structure 10 that way. So if we change our starting location, 110.75 negative. That's interesting. 110.75 negative 250. So if we make this instead of wool, you know, this is concrete all the way down. You could even sort of let them know what each of these was. So if we grab wool, you know, you'd use different colours, make it look pretty, but basically wool, concrete. So if we copy this whole lot twice, so from here, and I think I'll need to stand here, over to here, 79, negative 282, and we want to clone it out. So if that moved 10 to get it out to there, I want to move it 10, 20. Do I save this before I start? Yep. Because it's a lot to mess around with if I don't. Actually, what time's the next backup? I haven't seen the backup come up. Let's take a copy of this world. Reaction times. No, that's contours. That's the animal cell. That's it. So I'm going to take a copy of you before I do this. Throw you here. Right. So I now have a backup. Let's give it a try. I'm interested to see how this works. So if we go clone 175 negative 250, to 125.79 negative 282. See, there's an order to the instruction that I'm just not quite getting. We're not shifting it on the Z, we're going to shift it 20. Oop, wrong spot. 20 on the X. See, now why did it take it from there this time? It's got something to do with the way you put the coordinates in, and it just doesn't make sense. It shifted it back the right amount, but it cloned it from there, that corner. So if we did that again, yeah, right. See, that's now right. I don't understand. Right, and then everything from here on up towards positive Z and negative X. So slash fill from where I am now. What did I say? Negative X. So let's go negative 10, I think. Slash fill from where I am now to negative 10 on the X to 4 on the Y to, let's say, 30 on the Z. Oh, I need an air. That worked alright. Didn't need a backup at all, see? Never even know I'd been there. Never know I'd broken it. Oops. Sorry, cow. So now we've got, oh, so it says a Minecraft backup just happened. So concrete. And what else did I say? Terracotta. Where's the white terracotta? White terracotta. Right, and then we could go with the glazed terracotta here. So that way there's 64 different block choices for students, which isn't a bad idea. Drink break. So I was just saying that I have to now go and change each of those teleporting command blocks manually. Definitely time to quit this map for now. I want to go and have a play with something else. And I think I want to do this in a flat world. Do I have a flat world? What's that animal cell? What is that? Must be the original. Not game enough. Anyway, let's do a new world. Blocks of grass. Creative, peaceful. Show coordinates. I want perfect weather. Don't want mobs. Okay. So I've been spending a fair bit of time messing around. What do I want to use? Let's use wool. Messing around with an idea. So let's say we wanted to create a bit of a city here, right? So instead of building the whole city, let's say we want one house here. So all I'm going to do is sketch out some building locations, basically. Right, so there's one house. And then beside that, let's grab, we're going to have another house. Which is going to be a bit different. Right, so let's say we sketched out an entire city using different blocks of wool. Right. What I've been trying to work out how to do is execute at a where they are, detect. Right, so let's get this right. I don't want it to be underneath me, I want it to be near me. So either side on the X or Z. So it'll basically, okay. So here's what we're going to do. Let me give you a bit of an idea of what I want. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up 4 command blocks that detect lime wool either side of me. Not at those locations actually, at these locations here. Alright, or a particular colour of wool at these locations here. And then it's going to, when it does that, replace. Actually, I wonder whether you could do a fill. Because I've been using the replace command in it. I wonder if you could do a fill. So we're going to go execute. If I could spell, I always mess up execute. Add a tilde 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 detect tilde 1 tilde tilde wool 2, and then we're going to do a fill from tilde 1 tilde tilde to tilde 1 tilde, say 5 tilde, with stone. Let's go cobblestone. Right, I like writing them in there because it's easier. So that's our command. Now we want that to be on repeat and always active. Alright, so now in theory, if I can find out which wool has ID number 2, which I'm hoping is this, and I stand... Nope. Do I need to put force? Let's get that command up here. Oh, I didn't actually... replace. Yeah. So I think, need that replace on the end. Right. Nope. Unexpected. What? Always forget that. So I need a 0 there. Oh, stop flying. So that's not working. Now is that not working because it's not? So let's get the data values up. Data values Minecraft. Orange is number 2, I'm guessing. Number 2 might be magenta. So let's get magenta. Right. So that's filled that. So if we actually wanted that to do that to grey wool instead, right, then we need to use 8. So we go back to here and change you to 8. Right, and now we control pick block you, put you down again, and we change where we're detecting. So we're going to detect at -1 on the X, and we're going to fill -1 on the X. Okay, so now that's got this side and that side, for example. Put it down again, and we're going to change it to filling on the Z. Detect on the Z first. So we're going to go back here, delete you. We're going to detect +1 on the Z. We're going to fill +1 on the Z, like so. And then we put it down one more time, and we're going to make it -1 on the Z. Delete you, -1 there. Right, so now in theory it doesn't matter. What? I've messed that up somewhere. 1 1 1 -1 -1 -1. That's right. One, 1 1. That's right. Hang on. Gotta check. Yeah, 1 1 1. Ah, there it is. Found it. Delta tilde -1 goes there. Right. So let's place it far away. So what this means is I can walk around my building and it will build the structure for me. So what you could do is then say, well, okay, green wool won't have that. It'll have a door or something else. So you could actually scope out a whole city and then just wander around it, and it will build at this stage only the walls, like so. I missed those ones. Did I not walk close enough? No, it doesn't register them as negative on the X. -1 on the X. Fill from -1. Unexpected replaced. Oh, duh. There you go. That's why I tried to run away with it. So yeah, this is my basic idea behind sort of getting faster at map building. Now there's a limitation there on inside corners, right? But then white wool, you would set up another array of 4 that would fill with a different block. So it might not be cobblestone, it might be, you know, stone brick, or it might be birch planks, or it could be anything like that. And the green, you know, you would set up to be a door. So you would have this key of build this and, you know, bring in these command blocks and it'll do it. However, my big limitation at the moment, and the real reason we're discussing this was for, and I'll do it in a second, was for mazes. But you can't summon in Bedrock, unfortunately, at this stage. As far as I'm aware, you can't summon falling blocks. There's no such thing. There's no sand, there's no moving block, there's nothing like that. So in Java, you can summon a falling block and have riders, so it falls. When it hits the ground, it becomes a command block, and you have other command blocks riding other command blocks, and you just get a whole sequence of command blocks built from one command block, including their commands. But you can't do that here. So, maze. What color is lime? What number is lime? Let's get that web page back up. Lime is 5. Okay. So let's say I wanted to make a maze. Okay. So I'm going to delete you and you. And I'm going to change detect. So I'm going to change the replace to wool 5. Alright, and I'm going to change the detect to grass. Okay, and instead of detecting 1 to the side, we're going to detect 1 below me. So if I'm standing on grass, it will fill 1 to the left, up 5 high, with lime wool. Right, so to stop that happening for a second, the trick is it'll knock me out of turn. No, so it's not going to work quite like that. So before we do the other one, just so the idea was that you'd be able to run around making a maze, but you end up in the limitation of you can't run in that direction because it's building the maze. So there's no way I can loop back unless I hop off. So what I was going to do would have just meant I could only run in a straight line. So, other option. Would be that you sketch out the maze like so, for example, right? And instead of detecting lime wool, we'll detect lime wool. So we'll detect beneath me wool 5, and we'll replace with wool 5 one beside me. Yeah, okay. So if we control pick you, right, we're still detecting it beneath me. We're going to fill -1, -1. Oop. Right. We're going to fill. Wish you could click in there. 1 and 1. And then we're going to fill -1 and -1 on Z. -1, -1. Right. So now problem being, wonder how this works, because if I go stand, so I'll give you an example. If I actually get green lime wool, let's come stand away from the command block so I don't break them. As soon as I stand on it, it's going to seal me in that 1 by 1 area, right? So not quite what I want. So what if it detects wool? So I need to now detect. Need to now detect wool in my direction of movement. If there's wool on any of the cardinal directions from me, don't fill it with wool. No, it's too late at night for this. But yeah, that's what I've been playing with, is that, and I was using that to replace large structures, and I did it again today, and it was really quite. Is therapeutic the right word? It's really good. It's much easier to replace large structures, which is why I was thinking this would be a good use of it. This style of, okay, let's just build the walls, and then in theory, if you had it right, and it would be sort of a requirement for a web tool of some sort to actually help people create the commands per se, but yeah, it doesn't work until we can actually summon command blocks from a command block with their commands already in them, and I don't believe you can do that yet. Alright, what's next? Let's go out of there and into the animal cell, because I've done a little bit of work on the animal cell. Can't remember when I last showed where I was at with this, because we're pretty much done in terms of it's pretty close to ready to go. I need to set the time so it's midnight, no moon. Hey Frag Arrays, you can only join if you're a Minecraft mentor, because it's Minecraft Education Edition. So if you're a Minecraft mentor, yeah, let me know who you are and we'll sort you out in a back channel and you can join for sure. Mentor, Global Minecraft Mentor for Minecraft Education Edition. I'm guessing that you might not be. So unfortunately, this is Minecraft Education Edition. So it's not a standard Minecraft world, and you need Minecraft Education Edition to join, because I'm a teacher and I'm making lessons for other people to be doing, and for me to do with students. So yeah, so I'm looking at ways. So in my last map of this, you probably could teach me some stuff. We had information blocks, but we don't in this, and I was trying to work out a good way of getting the text I want, which I can get up over here for you, the text I want into that world, rather than sending them out and all over the place to get it. And this is the current thing I'm thinking of. If you do that, it whispers to you the information, and I'm not 100% sold on it, because then you've got to hit T and so you can read it, and it's just going to be, if I do that for every single, you know, if I'm going around to every organelle and doing that, it's really weird when it comes off that. Right, and then I press T, so there's just a wall of text there, and I'm not sure I like that. Yeah, Book and Quill's a good idea, except you can't give written books. If I could give them written books, I would be in on that, but you can't give written books. I was looking online for a solution to this, and we came up with the idea of cloning, or there is the idea out there of cloning, so I could write the book, put it in a chest, clone said chest, and then give it to the students through, so clone the chest and then delete the chest, and the book falls out, which is sort of doable, but again, I'm not sure if I grab a writable book. And I grab some of that text. So let's grab this, because students will be using... Can't we copy and paste in there anymore? I thought we could. No. Interesting, so there you go, I'd have to rewrite it all, which is fine, but students actually, this is actually a journal, and students will be having the camera, so they would take a photo of that, add their photo here, and write about the vacuole here. So that's my dilemma, is that they can't have the text up at the same time. There is a real world booklet that goes along with this lesson, so I don't know which to do. Label lessons 1, 2, 3 and have them in corresponding lessons. Yep. But again, they've got a journal that they're supposed to be writing in, or at least taking pictures and throwing them in, and then they've got a booklet in real world that they can be filling in as well. So I just wasn't 100% sure the best way to do that. But functionality wise, this is all done. I've done the new textures, so a few more little things to work out and we'll be done. Hello. I saw that at some stage when I was, so I think that was the only one. That had it. Let's go make it all this right. can't get Education Edition on Android, unfortunately. It's only on Windows 10 and Mac OS. Sorry. Oh. Crash. Ooh. Now that's interesting. And of course it opens on the other screen. Wonder where I find that log. And I wonder whether my map is now Gonski's. Nope. Yeah, you can use command blocks to detect players and send a message to players, yeah. That's what I was doing with that, this guy up here, or gal, whichever skin it's got on. So in here, there is the whisper command at the closest player. So it's actually doing that. So these guys are essentially command blocks. The other thing I was trying to do was give them the block that particular thing is made out of, but you can't name blocks in Bedrock Edition either. More intricate and fancy, so unless you want to try it, I ain't doing more. What do you mean? More intricate and fancy? So what am I detecting players and sending messages? What messages am I sending to them? That text? This stuff here? Is that what you're saying? Anyway, where was I? Inside nucleus was fine. Mitochondria was fine. For it detects them on a certain block, yep. That's fine, I can do that. That's easy to do. I was doing that in the previous world I was messing around in. What am I then doing once I know they're on that block? What are you asking me to do with them? To send them a whisper. Yep. So what's the difference between doing that and using this guy here? Considering that every block that I'm standing on is exactly the same. And I don't know whether this is going to be everyone in the one world, single player or small groups or whatever they're going to do. So how is that different to me clicking on this person and saying and getting the whisper in that way? Looking at the model and give them message. Yeah. The reason, I get what you're saying, the reason I was thinking of using these guys was because I can have the multiple buttons and I can also send them out to somewhere like Crash Course Biology to have a look at a video about the vacuole if I wanted, so I could have a link have a URL so wherever it goes, Crash Course for example, and so if we just call it Crash Course, right, and we go back here, when the students click on that, they can also go to Crash Course and it will open the browser up and they can actually watch that video. So that's the reason I was trying to use these guys rather than the Detect. And because the other issue with Detect is it will whisper it to them over and over and over again. It will just keep whispering unless they get off that block. We can send them to URLs and stuff using the text in using the chat. Yeah, again, don't disagree with you. So you could get them. Oh, I'm not sure you can do that in Bedrock actually. I've never tried it. So if I want to send right, is that actually a live link? So it's not. So how do you make that a live link? Detect as a funny fan will send one time unless they turn away and look at it again. Oh, you mean detect them looking at a block? Or entity. Okay. So if I'm doing this now, so execute at a detect, there's no, as far as I'm aware, there's no raise or, oh, you can't see. Hang on. Let's move me up there. And while I'm messing around in here, let's move this down here. Okay, is that a bit better? So now you can actually see what I'm typing. And then if we do that and that, that'll get rid of those red boxes on me. So if I'm doing an execute at a detect, what's the detect me looking at a block command? Because I'm not 100% sure that that command will be in Pocket Edition basically, because we're on the Pocket Edition code base. Because I can detect when I'm on a block, alright? So I can detect when I'm on wood planks or whatever I'm on. Alright, have a quick look and we'll see if we can work it out. Because like I say, I'm not opposed to it. I'm looking for a good way of getting the text into the game without breaking the immersion as such. So, and I'm still not 100% sold on these guys being here, so if you've got a better idea, let's go. Let's give it a crack. Quick drink break, and I'll try and remember to unmute myself this time. Oh, look. I'm an NPC. Anyway, it's getting late and I should stop, but what does PE have that PC doesn't? I think you probably want to ask the opposite question. What does PC have that Pocket Edition doesn't? Depends on what version you're talking about, of course, because this is running the Pocket Edition code, but I come from a Java background, and that has a whole different slew of tools and toys that aren't in the Pocket Edition code yet. And I say yet because they're getting good at keeping them on track with each other, but they're not quite there yet. So let's run through this map. Show you my desktop again, sorry, /TP 91949. Right, so there's something I need to do here, and what it's going to require. Hey, why don't... Oh, there's a different... Interesting. So let's grab bricks. Okay. So I'll mess with the textures later, but what I'm thinking is so that's bricks. There it is. Come down here. Right. What's in you? Right. So execute at anyone, detect. Standing on. Brick. 0. I don't want to set block this time. This time I want to go ability at P. I missed the one there, and I can't see chat, so hang on, let me minimize that. Can you have a credit? Maybe. Help me do something and I can put a sign somewhere down hidden in here. So detect native one brick ability P world builder false, not glaze. Interesting. Okay, so let's just recreate it here. Brick block, right. Okay, so it wants brick underscore block there. Execute ability world builder false. I failed to execute that as me because I'm not standing on bricks. Right, so now if I go back to here, okay, so apart from game rule, I'll do that later. Apart from setting that game rule, that now means that I can't destroy these guys. So as soon as I spawn in the map, I lose World Builder. Which is good. That's what we want. So that was something, and I think that is something we should probably do in every map that we're throwing at students. Myself personally, I think, but it depends on your students, of course. Okay, so that was one other thing I needed to do. Using the right click, try TP at P. Why do I want to TP me? Either it works or you get a Tracy Teller. You want me to TP me to me? There you go. Nothing in any of these, I don't think. Okay. Yeah, okay. But if we turn off World Builder, that's not too bad actually. I'll point you north, okay. So if we just leave that like that, it's not bad. Yeah, that'll work for that one. No, it doesn't. Doesn't do anything. Oh, I left that open. I need to shut that. So I need to remember to change the brick to invisible and redo my texture pack. It's not a bad idea. What kind of Easter egg do you have in mind? What are you thinking? Not that this really gets graded per se, or at least it didn't when I did it last time. So the other thing I want is adventure mode or survival mode or creative mode. No, creative, they can fly. So I might want to not a bad idea. However, I tried from memory. Maybe not in that one. There's another one. I was going to make one of these so you could go in it and have the inner folds of the mitochondria and everything inside it, but I decided they were too small and it was just not possible to do in the end. Wonder if I left the structures in place. That doesn't look like it. I do like the idea of an Easter eggy type thing though. I just need to work out how, and we're a bit limited at the moment because what I was going to do, as I said, I was going to give, so when you spoke to the Vacuole tech you got a piece of the Vacuole building blocks and ribosome and ER and all that sort of stuff, nucleus and nucleolus and all that sort of stuff, and then once you had them all, you know, you get permission to do whatever you want kind of thing, fly around and have a look. But there's no way of tagging players in this version. So there's no scoreboard, stuff like that. So there are already command blocks set up to teleport them. So when I stand on this block here, I get teleported. And that happens down in here. So that's what these all do. So they teleport students around based on what block they're standing on. Yeah, agreed, you can tag players as if they're the closest one, but how can you guarantee the player you want is the closest one? And that's what sort of worries me about the whisper command as a way of giving students information. From the Vacuole guy up here, it is a whisper. So if there were multiple players in the map and you're standing back here talking to them and someone else is standing here talking to them every time, that's not a bad idea, although I'm going to take it a different way to you. So if we were to whisper at A within a radius of 4, right, that would whisper everyone. However, what if I've already got that one and someone's sitting here going in animal cells and it's whispering everyone again and again and again and again? Do you know what I mean? I am using command blocks. Those command blocks move me as soon as I stand on one of those teleporter blocks. That's what those command blocks down there do. Where is it? No, really, where is it? Get out of the dang thing. I use them to unlock the Easter egg. Yeah, but how do I know when they've done everything? It's because there's no way to determine that they've done everything in game that I want them to do. Right, so that's the teleporting. But there's no way of tagging players. There's no scoreboard in here. You know, there's no way of But again, how do you restrict who's going through the checkpoint? This is the issue I've got, and I'm not trying to be annoying to you. I'm trying to explain to you the limitations that we're trying to work with here. There's no way that we can detect when players have met certain criteria. We can detect if they've got certain things in their inventory, I believe. No. So there's no way to check if they've got something in their inventory there either. There is something. Held block? There was a block in inventory or something. There's a replace item, so that's the item, replace item. Does detect work? Execute. No, that only detects blocks. Oh, come on, learn how to type. You know, there's no way of detecting someone with something in their inventory at this stage. Hopefully the Microsoft team are working on it, but it's just not in the game yet. And it's not in Bedrock either. It's not in Windows 10 or Pocket or anything. It didn't come with the Better Together update. So there's no way of... Hold an arrow. Yeah, got one. Now what? Missed the platform. Didn't miss it by much. Where is it? Here. Drink break. So you can test for names, you can do radiuses, but there's no way hey, test for falling block is there. So you can test for falling block, but you can't summon a falling block. Now that's interesting. There's no way of having name type. So there's no way of having inventory in there. Go back to that. So Java command. I can tell it's a Java command because it's got the squirrely brackets. It doesn't understand inventory. It just doesn't get it. Trust me. I've looked far and wide for a fix of a way I can get this to work. So I could clear it from them. So I could clear from anyone. Right. Arrow. 64. Yeah. Right, and that will remove 64 arrows from me. Right. But then that would only be good if I could then execute a command based on that. So, alright, so let's try a execute at a alright, so execute anyone who has an arrow. Slash TP to 9 at P to 9 1499 194 unexpected slash at arrow. Okay, so we just get rid of that. Unexpected TP. Right, so if I have just get multiple stacks. What are you doing? Hang on. Doesn't that work in this anymore? What? Ah, here we go. That's easier. So let's give myself multiple stacks of arrows. I know I could probably use a give command to do this a lot quicker. Right. Done. So I've got multiple arrows now. So that cleared 640. Why did it clear them all? We obviously don't need that. It doesn't like that TP command afterwards. So what I was hoping to do there is sneak away around it, because you got me thinking. Is there a way? So arrow. Right. Still removing items, but I've still got them, so it's not actually removing all 64, it is only removing 64. So if we change that to 10, I should have one stack that's down 10. Right, okay, so it says it's removing them all, but it's not. Right, so it's doing that, but then there's no way. What if you found a way to detect thrown items? I mean, if you want to go, you'd need to detect all 9 thrown items at the same time, or all 7, whatever it is, in some respects. But then you'd also, if that's the case, I might as well put another teleporter in somewhere in all of those locations that takes them to a final room as such, and they can submit, for lack of a better way of saying it, they could submit their 9 blocks or whatever and their book. I mean, not necessarily. If you don't detect all of them at the same time, then you can't do what you want, because you can't say that this player has thrown that item yet. Yeah, don't disagree with that statement. Yeah, right. But there's no way of then tagging that player saying that they have done that. So there's no way of recording that detection against the player. So yes and no, Redstone has variables. How do you propose to record that player me has thrown said item on the ground and player you has not? You could TP them, but TP them to where? And then there's still no way of maintaining that data value, for lack of a better way of saying it, or that memory, or that variable. There's no way of maintaining that with the player, unless it's purely a single player experience. Then there's no way of saying, well, I threw the item on the ground and you didn't, is there? Does that make sense? Can't give named items. It's not in Bedrock again. It's not in Pocket Edition. Because I was trying to give at P glass. Give me one, and then you should have been able to go name. VQL doesn't like that. Let's try that. Yeah, but that doesn't add anything to my map. If I give them an XP bottle on Anvil, it doesn't add anything to the experience for them. Alright, the experience is tailored around learning what all of those things inside the cell do. So I go here and I can learn from the Nucleolus technician what the Nucleolus does, even though you can't see it right now. And I can learn from the Nuclear Pore technician what the Nuclear Pore does. So how does giving them an Anvil and an XP add to the experience? And then you've got the variable of what if they name it wrong and there's no way of detecting that they've named it, and da 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 da. Glass. Can't you have them get a chest with a chest of named items? Yeah, get that. It comes back to the same thing I was talking before about giving them written books with information in it. The only way that I've found to do it... No, I want it to be automatic. Because having chests around breaks the immersion, for lack of a better way of saying it. So I wonder what the components JSON is. I feel like there's a way to do it. So if I grab an anvil, I just got to give them glass. right? So the theory was that somewhere in the map I have a chest and it's got this in it. And then you clone that basically on me. So you do again, there's no way of telling who it is. You clone that on me and destroy the chest. So clone the chest and break it, right? And the glass pops out. So then I get the glass. That's the only way to do it, and it's called Vacuole. So there is that ability to do it, but I'm just not sure I like the idea of spawning chests on people and then breaking them the next tick, and how I would actually go about making sure it spawns on me and not just the person closest. Because what happens with this is, if there's another command in here, so say hi, right, as soon as I click that NPC, right, I get the information, and then when I exit, that command runs. Okay, now that command can run at the nearest player, it can run at all players within the radius, it can do anything like that, but there's still no way of tagging that, so it only goes to the person who's clicking that. It's still a standard command block and standard selectors. Yes, I can. So if we go back in here, I certainly can. So if we change this to give, but again, it's at P, glass. Right. Then as soon as I click off that NPC, I get given one glass. Okay. But that glass is called glass. It's not the same one that I was given before, and there's no way of telling this NPC to give this item named glass that I've been able to find yet. And I say yet because I've only been thinking about it for the last hour or so. The only way that people were able to give named items was to clone the chest and break it. Goodbye, glass. Do I know my kids' gamer tags? Maybe some of them, but I can't tell you that. Nice try though. Alright, well I'm actually going to call it there. Anyway, it's well and truly past bedtime here. So thanks for dropping by and watching, and for the conversation. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I just had a thought. Ah, no, yeah, I know my kids' gamer tags, but this is a map that I'm making for the community as such. So I'm going to provide this to other teachers and stuff. So it needs to be bulletproof for everyone, not just my kids, if that makes sense. Now I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. But no, it won't work like that. So I can set up things so that it ignores me, but I'm talking about making this available publicly to all Minecraft Education Edition people, basically. And that's where I'm trying to make it as rock solid as possible. So, but yeah, I really like the idea of a finish room where you can put all of your blocks and detect those blocks, and once you've got all 7 blocks or 8 blocks or whatever it is, the number of organelles in here, then you get your Easter egg, because I do like that idea. But it's a matter of how to make sure. It used to be just for my classroom. This was built in the well, it was 2013 I built this map originally, or 2012. But I'm just remaking it for Education Edition now. So, yeah. Alright, thinking to do. I'm out. Thanks for watching. And yeah, hopefully drop by again and we'll have another chat. See ya.